right, man. Somebody been going around writing an article about it's a few of them about Cam Sutton and Jerry Jacobs being the worst cornerback duo in the league. Let's talk about it. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and the subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance, get notifications. We go live or drop video. Financially, you want to support the channel, Cash App, $ CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313, PayPal link in the description. Yeah, so they're basically saying that well, they're not. The stats say Jerry Jacobs is giving up, what they say, 602 yards. I think that might be like 7th most. Yeah, 7th most, and he's given up 7 touchdowns. Is tied for 3rd most in the league, and they're amongst the worst cornerback duo. I think they gave up 1,140 yards and 10 touchdowns. I think the only team that's worst is I think the 49ers is the worst as far as cornerback duels, and then I think the Chargers, and then they in a 3-way tie or something like that with the Eagles, Chargers, and Steelers. So yeah, they one of the worst cornerback duels out there. They gave up 10 touchdowns already, 1,140 yards. I mean, I think that's like, top 5, top 3. Jerry Jacobs just, trash. That's why I said they need to go out there and get pass rusher 10. So now they need even more help. When you thinking they just need another pass rusher, an interior rusher, and then you thinking they just possibly need another cornerback. So I think that was always the case. Kind of move Jerry Jacobs to a backup role. I think they'd be fine with a true number 1 corner. I think Cam is a solid second corner. I think I like Brian Branch in the nickel and Jerry Jacobs backing them up. So I don't know if you go out there and spend that money. It's a young guy's game at corner. Christian Gonzalez was really a really good one. He was doing really, really well in New England. But New England, Belichick is a defensive wizard until he got injured. But yeah, it's a problem. I mean, but the Eagles secondary is atrocious, and apparently the 49ers is. But you can be atrocious when you dominant up front. And right now the Lions don't have the dominant they don't have the domination up front that those teams have. They don't have a lot of, really good pass rushers up front on the interior, on the outside. So that's going to be, a place to attack next year is to, see if you can get an interior pass rush. I don't think you can no longer wait on Levon Zorki or Josh Pascal. You got to go out there and find somebody that's going to push the pocket. I think that's going to be the hardest thing they got to do is find interior dominant defensive tackle lineman. And then an edge rusher, they can find those. I mean, you might have Josh Allen that might hit the market from Jacksonville. Brian Burns might hit the market in the free agent market. And in a draft, you always can find somebody that can just rush the passer. So I think the edge rusher might not be so much of hard to find, but they got to find somebody that's gonna make noise in the middle of the defense. Whether it's trade or free agency or the draft, they got to find that, and obviously cornerback. So, I think offensively, the one thing that they're missing is a quarterback, and I think also some depth across that offensive line can continue to help them. But yeah, Jerry Jacobs is simply not a starter. I mean, Cam Sutton didn't seem to be that bad this year. But then again, when you don't have a pass rush, everything else is gonna look bad. When you can't rush the passer, the corner's going to look worse. You know what I'm saying? But I think even with the best pass rush, Jerry Jacobs is a good, backup cornerback. He's good backing up the outside guys. So, Aaron Glenn can say he still believe in him. R. Kelly believe he can fly. We ain't yet to see that ninja fly without CGI or special effects. So, that's just what it is. You got to be real about it. You know what I'm saying? They got to go out there and get a number 1 corner, and the thing about drafting a corner, it takes about a year or 2 to get their feet wet. It takes a year or 2 to be able to get those guys' feet wet. It takes a year or 2 to be able to get their feet wet. But like I said before, one of the worst duos. And the difference between the other teams, as playoff teams up there, potential playoff teams, even the Steelers, they probably won't make it. They can manufacture a pass rush with T.J. Watt. You know, I mean, if you look at the Chargers, who are not a playoff team, especially with Herbert being out, they can manufacture a pass rush with Bosa and Mack. If you look at the Eagles, you know, Fletcher Cox, you know, Jalen Carter, I mean, Brandon Graham, you know, they got you know, a preferable guy, Hassan Reddick, that can create, you know, pass rush. The 49ers, Nick Bosa, you know, what is it? Eric Armstead or DeForest, I think DeForest out there in Indianapolis, you know, Chase Young, Armstead, they can create a pass rush up front. So, you know, you say, well, should the Lions just create a pass rush? With all that money, I would just significantly try to do both in your assets. This is the great thing about not trading your draft picks out. So, you know, it depends how the draft board shake up too. So, but you know, Jerry Jacobs can't go and start. They can't let Jerry Jacobs go start next year. You can't come back without pass rush help up front and the inside and outside. And I think Cam Sutton to be a decent number 2, but they got to go find a guy that could be their number 1 cornerback. Rather sooner than later. No matter if you want to upgrade that front 7, in today's game, it's really played on the perimeter. You need somebody that's going to be able to travel with these guys on the inside, travel on the outside. But Jerry Jacobs just not no good. When that ball in the air, he trash. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. You seen versus Chris Olave. You know, he just don't have the speed to really get downfield. And then, you know, you want a corner that's good at playing zone and man coverage, because apparently now they got to play more zone. And you see a lot of struggle because they not really, you know, Aaron Glenn is not really a zone defensive coordinator. So we'll see. But I just think that it's a high priority, and you know, Jerry Jacobs is just not a starter. I knew that coming in, but they knew that. That's why they got Emmanuel Mosley. You know, Brad Holmes loves shopping at the thrifty store. You know, he loves shopping at the the flea market for injury-prone players, and then you end up having to depend on them, and then you can't depend on them. Anazorki, Pascal, you know, Emmanuel Mosley. I mean, he has a knack for that, man. I'm tired of it. Tired of him, you know, Jameson Williams. I'm tired of him, you know, betting on injury-prone players and hoping that he gonna strike right. You're not gonna strike right. So, but you know, perhaps they may not be I mean, you could be on paper. Well, they're not the worst duo, because if you giving up all those yards and touchdowns, and you in Philadelphia with that all-star front 7, you in not Arizona, you in San Francisco with that all-star front 7. I mean, you in LA with Bosa and Mack when they both healthy, and you giving up those type of yards. I think it's by far worse than the Lions, because you can make a case, the correlation that the Lions not getting pressure up front is taking away, you know, is leaving their corners on the island too much. So they got to find a way to manufacture pressure. And I think those corners would be a lot better, but I don't think, even if you upgrade everything else, you can't go into next year with Jerry Jacobs as a starting corner. It's just simple as that. He's a backup, and that's where he belongs. And they need a number 1 corner or a number 1 corner to be. And like I said, I feel like they pressed up on a guy in Christian Gonzalez, which that would have fit the bill perfectly. But it is what it is. Check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance, get notifications. We go live or drop video. Financially, want to support the channel, Cash App, $CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313, PayPal link in the description. Hit the link tree. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, the whole 9. Peace.